Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. It is continued Masters Week 2026 Masters preview shows. I got a great guest coming up as well to break down the Masters and some of our favorite plays and just some general things that we're going to discuss and preview this week. As I said, the Masters, the first major tournament of the golf season and the most prestigious and the greatest one that we have. So we're looking forward to it this Thursday coming up. But before we get started, hit my music. Let's get it. All right. Once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with another 2026 Masters preview show. Today, got a great guest coming up, returning guest coming back to the show. And before I bring her on, you can follow the show and everything on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple. We're also on YouTube, BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com. Wherever you get podcasts, we are there. And you can follow me on all the social media platforms, whether it's Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, wherever Instagram, Facebook. I think I'm on all those. So you can find me there as well. All right. Well, let me bring in my guest here. And like I said, this is the Masters Week, a tradition like no other, as they say in the beginning, each and every year. She's a big golf fan herself. And we were talking, the last time we were talking about when Brooks Koepka came back to the PGA with her and our co-host Erin Mulligan, who will not be on this show. She's dealing with, a little of stomach bug. So we hope that she gets better and everything too. Get well, Erin. Shout out to you. But she is the social media manager and content creator, founder and CEO and host of the Collaborative, where she just celebrated her 6-year anniversary. So congratulations. So I want to welcome back to the show, Sydnee Walker. Welcome back. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Courtney, and happy Masters Week.
Yes, it is definitely Masters Week. And once the Masters was rolling coming up, and I think we talked about it on the last show, I said I want to have you back on with you and Erin. But like you said, you hold it down with Erin and everything too. So I do really appreciate the one half of that dynamic duo. So again, thank you again for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Of course, and get well soon to Erin as well.
Yes, definitely get well. We will definitely be doing another show soon. We got other major championships and tournaments coming up in golf. So it's major season. So it's we got a few more coming up. So, but Sydnee, again, thank you for doing this. And so first question is with the Masters, and you said you're a big golf fan, and and things like that. What to you? What makes the Masters so special, and what's some of your favorite things about the Masters?
Yeah, I love how prestigious it is, and I love the week-long, how everyone gets excited about it. And I feel like with other major tentpole events, it's really more of a party vibe, like with the Super Bowl, All-Star weekend for NBA, MLB, and other things like that. But with the Masters, it really has this prestigious feel. It's very elite. A lot goes into it. The prep from the groundwork, the crew was on it all weekend, really making that prestigious for the players to play on. And even people prepping their homes, like on TikTok, I see a lot of people who live in Augusta. They're doing series all week, getting their home turned over for people to stay in, cleaning it out, prepping it. So even that, people take it very seriously in Augusta. And then just seeing the behind the scenes from the players' wives and families getting ready for their journey to Augusta. And then even leading up all year, just even getting to the Masters, it's very exclusive. The ticket lottery, it's very hard to get tickets. Just seeing people share their journeys from if they got in or they didn't get tickets to trying again year after year. And then also when you're on the ground there. They don't allow phones. So I love that exclusive feel. You can bring a
Yeah.
disposable camera, but even when you have those iconic moments on the course, you see those photographs. There's no phones. Everyone's really in the moment. So it's really cool. And also, if you want to call someone while you're there, they get a phone call that says someone's calling you from Augusta National. So I just feel like everything
Oh,
they
yeah,
do,
that's cool.
yeah, from that to the branding, if you look on the Masters app, everything is on point. So I just feel like they do a really good job of making the tournament feel special year after year.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're in Atlanta, so have you ever been to the Masters? Like as you said, that lottery is it's hard to get into. So, but have you ever been to the Masters yourself?
I have not. Hopefully
Okay.
one day. I don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
on, yeah, I have on golf merch, not Masters merch, but I go to the Tour Championship at East Lake National Golf
Okay.
Club in Atlanta
Yeah.
every year, but hopefully one day in the future I can make it to the Masters.
Yes, and I saw that you said it's hard to get in. Even like for as a fan, as media, he said it's so prestigious. And he said to get to Augusta National, and it's funny. My wife at our job, they were giving. I think they were giving 2 tickets to go to the Masters. And you had to. There was a contest they were doing, and in her department. So I was telling her, I said, hey. She's not a golf fan at all, but she would have went. She would definitely would go, and free tickets to go. But she didn't win. But I said, hey, big golf fan I am. We definitely going and everything.
Right.
So the person that ended up winning, they ended up winning. So she didn't get the win, but she was trying. It was close in the contest and everything too. So it was. I was like, oh, that would be perfect. It was just my first time ever going to basically a golf tournament, a major, especially a major in a golf tournament in itself. So, but yeah, you said the tickets hard to get. And with the lottery, I mean, you got to start that very early just to try to get in. And I've heard a lot of people that were golf content creators and things like that. They've never been either. So it's just like they try to get in as media, and there's just it's just this it's been like that for years. So it's just the way it is. So it's a very hard thing to get into. But I love seeing the pictures, love watching it as well. So it's maybe one day we'll all get a chance to go one day, and as either as media or as fans.
Hopefully.
Yes, yes, for sure. And tickets are very expensive, like I said, it's like Super Bowl. And it brings people together, kind of like I said, kind of like the Super Bowl in itself, because you hear Masters, it's that people are glued to the TV because it's just like I said, it's just the way the history, and this is the 90th Masters, so historic 90 years of such history and rich history and things like that. So many great moments. Any moments stand out to you over the years that you've watched it, and some of your favorite players or anything like that? Anything over the last how many years it's been since you've been watching it? Any key moments that you remember?
My all-time favorite Masters moment was in 2019 when Tiger Woods came back and won. I
Right.
just thought that was iconic, especially
Hmm.
because it was a 14-year drought between winning in 2005 and 2019. So I just love
Yes.
that moment, and he's my all-time favorite golfer. So I just thought that was an awesome moment for him to come back and win, and just seeing the raw emotion and the way the crowd went crazy. So that's definitely my all-time favorite Masters moment. And then
Yeah.
recently, I've really enjoyed seeing Scotty Scheffler's rise in the ranks. So I've really enjoyed
Mm.
watching him play.
Yeah.
He's the best in the world right now. So it's always a treat to watch him and see how he's been competing over the years.
Yeah, yeah, I agree on both of those moments. Yeah, Tiger 2019, and we'll transition. Since you brought up Tiger, we got transition to he'll be missing in this Masters, but yeah, that 2019 moment of just all the things he had been through and still continue to go through, unfortunately. But the injuries and the off the course type things that's been happening with him, and everything. But to bring, like I said, all that emotion and everything when he won in 2019, I don't even know if, as we know, he's a 5-time champion here at Augusta National. He knows this course did better than just about anyone. And it was tremendous of him winning. He said that drought of all the things he's been through, and then he wins that. It was tremendous. And you said Scotty Scheffler's rise. And one of my recent favorites is just the most recent with Roy McIlroy getting over. You talk about a drought. He had a
Hmm.
major drought, and then trying to win the Masters to complete the Grand Slam, and just that weight off his shoulders. to win, finally get that. He was so close at Augusta that he finally wins. That was tremendous, just seeing that and almost blowing it too, and getting to a playoff with Justin Rose last year.
Yeah.
Last season. That was yeah. He pulled it together, hit some tremendous shots down the stretch, and he's the defending champion. So yeah, it was those are some of my favorite moments too as well.
I felt like we all could feel that sigh of relief when Roy
Yes.
won because
Hmm.
every year everyone's just asking, when are you going to win the Masters? When are you going to
Yes.
win the Masters? And just feeling that amount of pressure every single year and just wondering, is this ever going to happen? Because that's the one thing he's been waiting on all these
Yep.
years. And then to finally have it happen in that fashion, it was just incredible to watch.
Yes. Oh my goodness. When I mean, he had the lead going into with Bryce in the last, they were the last group, and him heading into, I was like, okay, yes, there was that pressure, as you said. He was all those years. It's like you've been close, you've been close. When you're gonna, get over the hump, get that grand slam, of all four majors, and you felt the weight, as you said. We all felt that weight come off of him. We were almost like we were all there with him, and
Yeah.
everything. And and it was such a joy to see him celebrate and be celebrated with that win, that tremendous win. That was very iconic. So it was tremendous with that. And but speaking of Tiger Woods, and Tiger Woods, not being at this year's Masters, one of the bigger storylines heading into this is dealing with some off the course, like I said, off the course issues, and getting into a car accident and everything too. So, but what do you think of the Tiger Woods, and now he's stepping away from golf, which I think is needed for him too. But with Tiger going through this again, what was your initial thoughts of seeing Tiger Woods in the news again? Not per se, not for golf.
Yeah, it's really sad to see that this
Mhm.
happen again. We've seen him get in a few car wrecks over the years. So I was shocked when I first saw the news because I didn't expect to see that pop up on my timeline that
Right, right,
particular day.
yeah.
So I was shocked and then sad to see that happen. I'm glad there were no major injuries or anything, but I'm glad that he's now getting the treatment that he needs. He's off in
Mhm.
Switzerland now, off the grid for a little bit. So I'm glad that he's taking time away from golf and the golf community is behind him. The Masters put out a statement, the PGA Tour put out a statement. Any players that have been asked about it this weekend during practice, they're all behind Tiger. They're happy to support him. So I'm really glad that he's getting that support, taking the time away that he needs, and hopefully he comes back in the near future stronger and better.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the support system that he needs definitely could help him. And our Jason Day, excuse me, when he had said that, he had some statements to say, hey man, try to tell you guys, get your driver, and because before you hurt someone and hurt yourself as well, because the last time he had the horrific car crash as well, his leg, he seriously injured his leg, and then he's dealing with a lot of injuries and things like that. It's just like you said, it's good that he's getting the help that he needs, step away from golf, get off the grid for as long as he needs, and because he's the voice of golf, he's the voice of
Mhm.
of golf in general, and they do support him, they back him up, and decisions go through him a lot too. PGA looks through him as the voice of reason in a lot of
Yep.
ways. So just like you said, just get the help, and you come back whenever you can, and hopefully be, again, just to have that support for the golf community really is tremendous. But you said stepping away and getting the help is much more important.
100%. And as you mentioned, he's the voice of reason, and him and Rory have always been a tag team. So this is kind
Yes.
of Rory's week to step up and be
Yeah.
that leader for the rest of the players.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I know Roy. He got to get his championship dinner and everything to his Masters dinner, and I know he would love to have he would love to have Tiger there, but he's going to get more opportunities.
Right.
Just to have that dinner, and they'll be together for sure. But yeah, that's one. And another one that's stepping away is Phil Mickelson, another big name who also is stepping away because of some personal, I think, some family things he's dealing with. But what do you think of that too? It's like Phil and Tiger. I think it's the first time we won't see one or two or both of them in a long time at the Masters. Another guy who's a multiple champion, Masters champion as well. So what do you think of Phil taking time away too from golf?
Yeah, I think they said it was the first time since 1994, which is
Yeah,
crazy. And a
right.
lot of And for a lot of casual golf fans who just tune in for the Masters, those are really the only names they know. They're used to
Mhm.
hearing Tiger or Phil. So to tune in and say, hey, where are these guys? It's really
Yeah.
crazy that we're not seeing one or the other. So I was surprised to hear that Phil wouldn't be competing, but it's definitely understandable going through personal issues. And I hope everything is okay with him and his family. But looking forward to seeing him back sooner rather than later, too.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, yes. So we hope that they both get any all the help and needs what they need for that, and you said um, get back into the game of golf where you said those two names, the casual names, know those names, Phil and Tiger, uh, and who just tuned in for the Masters. They figure, oh, okay, we know these two names, so let's watch. So yeah, but I think they'll definitely be back for sure. All right, let's get into this year's Masters. As I said, it's the 90th Masters in Augusta National, and you say this prestige and iconic course as well. But who do you what other storylines are you looking into? Like you said, the top of the board. We'll just start there. Some of the top names have some question marks. You said Roy McIlroy coming back with his coming back, for all injuries. We don't know how healthy he is with the back. Scotty Scheffler, not knowing, he hasn't played to his standards. Has played well, but hasn't played to his standards. So we don't know what type of form he's in. Just had a baby, so congratulations, 10 days old baby as well. So you have that going on. So, but Colin Morikawa, another big name coming off injury. Not sure how healthy he is. He's ready to go, but he's questionable. So, but what other? There's a lot of injuries, but what other storylines are you looking uh, to heading into this week?
I'm also interested to see how the live guys who were offered
Hmm.
exemption back onto the PGA Tour do. Obviously, we've seen Brooks Koepka. He's been competing for the past few months. So we've already seen him getting used to being back on the tour. But also Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm, and Cameron Smith were also offered spots back onto the tour and they declined. So I'm interested to see how they do this week. I think Bryson will do really well. He always turns it up a notch during the majors. He came
Yes.
very close in last year's Masters. So I think Bryson has a real shot at winning this year. He always does extremely well. I think he can make a real case at winning this year. He's been on his A game recently, so I really think Bryson has a shot. Also, some other players that have been playing extremely well. Ludwig Oberg, he's been
Yes.
playing pretty well. He's been very consistent. I think he has a great case of winning. And also, someone I would really like to see win is Justin Rose. He's been a
Mm,
runner up 3 times. So if he could get
yeah.
his breakthrough and win, I would be
Hmm.
very happy for him. He's playing like he's 25 again. He's been
Yeah.
very consistent. He's playing great. So Justin Rose would be someone I would love to see win. And then another one, Cam Young. He played incredible at the Ryder Cup this past year, and he also won the Players Championship. So that's
Yep.
someone I feel like a lot of people don't really pay attention to him, but he always has a poker face. He's very
Hmm.
determined and focused. He plays very well, and I feel like that's someone who could be kind of sneaky and sneak up there on the leaderboard this week.
Yeah, I like those. I like those picks. And you talk about Ludwig Oberg. How close, like just in the first two uh, Masters, he's finishing the top six, seventh in his two appearances. So he definitely has the game to contend as well. I am interested to see how Bryson and John Rahm does as well because they've been winning on the recently been winning on the been winning on on live as well. Bryson has two wins this year and John Rahm has one. So Rahm seems like he's getting his game back as well because of him getting on. I think when Rom went to live, I think we talked about this on the last show that we did, and how it just didn't. He just seemed. He said he seemed sort of miserable in a way when he went to live, and then it just seemed like he just wasn't himself. And
Yeah.
then then he was coming back to the majors, felt like he was out of place. That's what it felt like for a champion of his caliber. But now he seems like this past year last year, late last season, and then this year, he seemed like he's getting his game back into form, and he's one of the favorites. He's a past Masters champion as well, so he knows what it takes to win. And then, like I said, Bryson knocking on the door was in that final. He said was in that final group with Roy and finished fifth last year, so he's figured it out too. And it goes back to again course history, form, and there at the course. If you are, if you know your way around Augusta National, which is one of the hardest courses and you have good results, you usually do well. And that's why a lot of the top guys, if you look at the history, a lot of top guys have won. And the only ones that usually win. There's some exceptions, but usually those are the top guys or the stars usually all pull the Masters out.
Right. And also just comes back to having that major experience. You've
Yeah, and the
been through it
experience.
time and
Mhm.
time again. So when
Yes.
it comes to that third and final day, you know what to expect. You're getting to the grit of it, you're battling it out. So
Yep.
hopefully we'll see one of those guys push through and win.
Yeah, yeah. And just we're gonna, like I said, talk. I go back to Roy as you had mentioned earlier about him winning finally that the Masters, and then now you could say the weight is off his shoulder, but can he repeat, which is hard to do. Nobody's done it since Tiger Woods back in 2001, 2001, 02, or 2000. Yeah, 2001, 2002, I believe. And that's why it's hard to do. But he said Roy's coming off an injury. Not sure how healthy he is. But, with media attention, he's now, he said, this is his week, being the past champion, the defending champion, and everything, too. So, what do you think is Roy's chances of winning? And do you feel like do you feel like now there's still more pressure? There's still the pressure on him to now that he did get that monkey off his back.
I think the chances of going back to back are probably slim. It's very
Yeah.
hard to do. I would love
Yes.
if he did it. It would be an amazing storyline. But even this week, I was looking when it's time for him to defend a major title. He's gone as high as a top 8 finish to as low as the bottom and missing a cut. So
Yeah.
I feel like ever since he got that Grand Slam, he's kind of been cruising by. I feel like he's been happy just making the cut because he gets to play through the weekend. So
Mhm.
we'll see how he does this week. Like you said, he's been battling injuries and barely getting by. So I feel like he's really just enjoying the thrill of presenting um, trophies to some of the junior champs, having his dinner, enjoying
Yeah.
the entertainment of it all. So we'll see how he plays this weekend. But I don't really feel like he's thinking about repeating. It's more of just like, this is my weekend. I'm still living on the high from
Yeah.
last year, enjoying my weekend. Everyone's still talking about it. So we'll see how it goes. But I feel like if he just makes the cut and finishes in the mid to upper of the leaderboard, that'll be a success for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Roy coming in, I know, like I said, I don't know if there's more pressure, but again, media obligations. You said the dinner, and he's just happy to having his moment as well. But you said once he gets on the course, he'll be locked in. He'll be ready. And then, as long as he's healthy, he's still Roy McIlroy. You said he could go from top of the leaderboard to miscut because he's got so much history here at Augusta National, and so you just never know where he's gonna be. But I think there's other contenders that might that overshadow what Roy's going to do. But any other favorites that you're looking into, and then who do you think will win in your prediction?
Not a favorite to win, but one guy that's been playing really well is Jacob Bridgman. I've been
Yes.
following him throughout the season. He's had a
Hmm.
lot of top 5 finishes, and he won the Genesis Invitational this year. So that's a guy that's really elevated his game over the past few months. So I'm excited to see how he does in this Masters. It's his debut. So I'll really be keeping an eye on him to see how he plays. He's been extremely consistent. So that's another guy to keep an eye on this week.
Yeah, I like Bridgman as well. And like I said, I think he's won twice this season as well. So he's coming in with two wins already. Uh, that's in itself is just and he said this is his first Masters, so see how he does. Usually the debutantes don't usually do well, but at least they don't win. But it's hard. But like I said, if you're playing well heading into this to the match, and he has the skill set to really produce. So I can see him doing pretty well. All right, I think we talked about everything, but put you on the spot? Who do you think will win the Masters, or your top two or top couple that you think will win?
Oh, that's tough. I really want to say Bryson, but I've seen Ludwig and Justin Rose play more, and they've been more consistent. So I feel like it's going to swing either Ludwig because he's just been so consistent, or Justin Rose is going to break through and get that first
Okay.
win. So I think it'll be one of those two.
I like that. I especially like Ludwig. As we said, he's had two great finishes here in the two times he's been at Augusta. Plays well. Seems like knows the course and everything. It started figuring out the course. I should say, as we know, it takes golfers a while to really, because even someone like Bryson trying to over bomb it out, trying to say I could just bomb out of it with Augusta, but you can't do that. You got to have all the other skill sets to be a good scrambler around the green. All those things, you got to have all those skills. And now over his last three appearances, he's played well. So yeah, it takes some time to figure out Augusta National. But I do like the Ludwig call. I like the Justin Rose call. I'm going with Xander as my favorite to win. Had a really down year last year, coming off injury, started late and was trying to get back into it and everything. And as of now, this season, he's playing extremely well. Great form, top tens in the Masters over his career. In 2024, he won two majors. He won two majors in 24. So we thought he was going to go on a run, string, just start to a string of a run of majors and things like that. But he said the injuries derailed that, but he seems like he's getting his game back on. So I like Xander. I like the X-Men. I like Xander this week.
That's a good pick. I like that.
Thanks. Yeah. So I've been on him, and thinking, okay, he's starting to get into form. He's usually, like I said, in the mix, up the leaderboard. First round leader. If people bet first round leader, it's a good pick for him as well. But I think Xander, now that he's got his game going and the injuries now seem like they're surpassed, yeah, I think Xander's he's definitely going to be in the mix. So I think he's going to be very interesting. Last question is like, any traditions for you when you watch the Masters over the weekend? Do you watch it from home? Do you go somewhere? What's some of the things you do when you're watching the Masters?
I definitely watch it from home. I'll be glued to my couch all weekend
Yeah.
watching it. I don't think I've ever gone anywhere. I always watch it from home. I love to be on my couch because I'm also doing recaps for TikTok as well. So I'll be taking notes throughout the tournament to provide recaps, but I love being in the comfort of my home, just enjoying that. And then Erin and I will be texting throughout the tournament as well, giving our thoughts. So excited to just be comfortable and watching it. What about you?
Yeah. Same thing. Usually home. Don't usually go to anywhere, just on the couch. And watching a lot of it and everything. Might step away. I got family coming in town this weekend, so I'll be watching it Sunday especially, but Thursday for sure. Friday will be busy and probably a little bit of Saturday, but I'll be watching highlights if I do miss anything. But watching on the couch, I've been watching a lot of different things and doing the shows and all the previews and listening to a lot of different podcasts, and so just getting ready for Thursday. So that's it's gonna be a lot. It's always a lot of fun watching the Masters and seeing all the videos and all the content. It's gonna be fun as well. All right, what's next for Sydney in this next few months? And you said a lot of sports is coming up. Got all the major season with golf. I know you say guys will be talking in WNBA. They got the contract, finally got that done, and the deal done, as I should say, and the WNBA season will be starting. Just saw a big trade with Angel Reese, coming to Atlanta. And what's your thoughts on? Yeah, what's your thoughts before I let you go? What's your thoughts on that? Angel Reese getting traded to Atlanta.
Yeah, I was super excited. That came out of nowhere. I was so surprised when I went on my timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And Taylor Rooks broke the news. I wasn't expecting to see her break that news, but huge pickup for Atlanta. I think this will be a great environment for her, especially not just from the basketball side, but also for the culture. She does a lot outside of basketball. So I think it'll be great for her for the business side because the city provides a lot for her for entertainment and business perspective. So I think it'll be great for her for a whole purpose, business, entertainment, and basketball. So I'm very excited. And I feel like a lot of people were saying this is kind of like when Michael Vick came to the Falcons. People are very excited. Like her jersey already sold out. Season tickets are selling out. Like she's providing a huge impact on the team already. So I'm very excited. Hopefully I can get to a game. Seems like tickets are selling extremely fast. So hopefully I'll make it to one. But I'm very excited to have her here in Atlanta.
Especially, that's going to be a lot of fun with with her in Atlanta. I think said I got that alert. I was like, wait, what? I knew free agency was starting, but I didn't think like there was going to be any like I mean trades. But yes, I know she had made some comments at the end of the season last year, but I
Hmm.
figured. Okay, she'll play one more season there at the least, see how it goes, and everything. But I didn't see that. That was definitely not on my bingo card at all. So for sure, did not see that coming at all. But I'm happy for her that she was able to now going to Atlanta, going to a contending team who's got a lot of talent. So see how she fits there. But you're right, one of the most popular players in the WNBA right now. And he said the tickets are going to sell. I did see that they're going to be moving some games to bigger stadiums and things like that for Atlanta. So
They had
yeah,
already
the
announced they would have 5 games at State Farm Arena
State
where the
Farm Arena,
Hawks
yeah.
play, but they need some more now that she's
Yeah, they're
here.
gonna need some more, right? Right. Especially, and I did see, they're always Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark's always linked. I know we're all tired of saying that and everything. It's not a rivalry, really. It's just, what happened a few years ago. But they were saying because they played 4 times, they were like, we got to move these games too to a bigger arena. So, so it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to see how free agency goes. This next week as well. Should be going to be a mad dash because the season starts pretty quickly.
Yeah, the
So
draft is next week, so all the
next week,
collegiate players have such a
yep,
quick turnaround.
got a quick turnaround. And free agency is this week, draft next week, training camps in 2 weeks. So and then the season starts in May. So it's going to be hit the ground running with W. So I know you're going to be working on that. You're going to be working on some other things too. But what else you got coming up with the collaborative and your podcast and everything too?
Yeah, Aaron and I will get back to the podcast after the NFL draft. So we'll recap the Masters, the NFL draft, and then preview training camp for our team. So Falcons for me and Giants for her.
Yeah.
Then just some more in-person and virtual events for the collaborative. So I actually have a golf event coming up next week. So that'll be fun following the Masters, get everyone on the golf course, have fun with that. And then just continue with the virtual programming. So a lot going on with the collaborative.
All right. So follow the collaborative, follow Sydnee on social media as well. A lot of different things happening. Said the warmer weather's coming, so a lot of summer sports will be here. So looking forward to all your content and everything too. So Sydnee, thank you for your time. Enjoy the Masters, and I'm sure we'll be talking very soon with some of these other majors coming up. So enjoy the Masters and enjoy the summer as well. And looking forward to all the content.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, Courtney. Always a blast talking with you, and enjoy the Masters as well.
All right. Thank you. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
You too, Courtney.
All right. Thanks.